Welcome everyone to today's video. This is a Yamaha MU90R MIDI sound generator I recently got from eBay. A recurring subscriber might have seen this already in some live stream. Nice extended MIDI from 1996. As per usual with the stuff from eBay, often it's a little bit expensive and a little bit broken. Thankfully the only thing so far I found here, the most broken, is this jog wheel here, used for controlling most of the UI and parameters. And it's a little bit annoying. It's workable. The problem is, as so often with any kind of this rotary encoders here, that they either jump not with each click here, like right now, not at all. Right is somewhere worse than left, but also if you turn faster, then sometimes it jumps backwards and 6+ and stuff. Let's use this chance, take a look inside, try to repair this. Of course you could also repair by ordering the new part, but 25 years later and counting, this might be increasingly difficult, might be a relatively standard part, but anyway, it's always nice to just repair it if possible. Then you don't need to specifically order it and wait a week for shipping, plus whatever incompatibilities and so on. Besides, you might look longer for the part online than hours of browsing catalogs. Anyway, let's open it up and try to repair it. So this is a bottom plus some on the front. I think at least it's the center. Let's see if that is enough. And voila, as often with stereo or other professional music devices, often quite some air. And also, given this setup here, I would expect this main PCB is entirely the same as the non-rack version. They just didn't populate the output components from the chinch here, maybe some output driver whatsoever, and instead route that over there for that TRS output plugs for professional music, plus here this extra analog input or something that maybe, or does it, but this should have volume, AD input, wherever this is also headphone. Yeah, not sure, maybe the headphone. Anyway, so otherwise component-wise, of course, some custom ASIC here, some memory and ROM, and otherwise Colsane battery to save some state. I would actually, by the way, prefer it if they use the space to have here a power supply inside with some regular standard mains connector here. This wall wart is a little bit unnecessary in my opinion, but anyway. So the rotary encoder just here, conveniently separate. Let's screw that off and disassemble that as well. Preferably a more matching nut, but we are in an IT office here, so that needs to do. And this, by the way, are the same rotary switches as in stereo, car radios or hi-fi stereos, so the repair for that should be the same. So this rotary switch is enclosed here with this metal, fixed with this metal clamp, so we can just bend them back, but again, need to be careful, and then we clean either oxidated contacts or other. I've seen there's actually a surprising amount of grease in there, so let's get started. So to be honest, it doesn't look as bad as I've seen on other guides, so let's just clean it with contact spray. Maybe let's just bend this, maybe these fingers don't have that much contact also. Let's bend them a tiny little bit up. Otherwise, cleaning this with contact spray here on a cotton swab and as well this is style, and see if that improves the thing. As usual, only the most amazing preparation on this channel. Of course, I run out of Q-tips here in the office, so a little bit of toilet paper needs to do. This is some cheap, no-name contact spray from a local construction store. Let's see if that does the trick. Well, I hope it does something. It's probably also mostly grease actually, and I think the grease mostly meant to be here on this base plate and not in on these contacts. So probably that worked its way all around over the years. Maybe scratching over this helps a little bit as well, but I don't think they are that corroded. I think it's maybe either pressure, so we can bend them a tiny little bit up, and additionally this smear of grease there. I just leave the rest of the grease in there. I will even drop a tiny little bit of new ones there on the base plate, just so that this runs smoothly. So again, just some stuff we have in the office, so what's good enough for office chairs hopefully is also good enough for that. If that triggers you, leave in the comments below. So just here the base plate, this is not electrical contact, I hope at least. No, this is just the backside for this snappiness. I could even tiny little bit maybe here or so. Then this goes in there. So then you need to be careful reassembling the rest. That probably includes pressing those here a little bit down, so that they better put pressure on the back of the housing, and then this just goes hopefully more clean back together again. Yeah, bend more open like this, it's certainly way easier to close that again. Feels nice, very theoretically we could actually, you know what, let me test that before we fully reassemble that. Not that I put everything back together and it still doesn't work better. Yeah, actually you can't see that, but it works perfectly right now. So let's switch that off, power off, and bend this back. So this looks good like that. And then either just with a screwdriver. And this is why I pressed them down first, so that they apply a little bit of pressure to the housing. So we obviously don't have professional industrial tooling for the original manufacturing here. Yeah, could have even more pressure on the housing, but I think it's quite okay. But maybe you want to bend the top part a little bit more angled for that to have more pressure. And again, not only for the specific Yamaha piece, but any of those rotary encoders. So, and back in that is. Then the jog dial here. Of course, this way you can save quite a bit. Also, this one was not advertised defective, but the price was relatively okay. Of course, in general, the more broken you auction and buy this, the better the price you could negotiate. Otherwise, yeah, not that much to see. Just some driver deck, prom, not much below there. And yeah, actually not really that much to see. Although this looks a little bit half populated, not entirely sure if that really is the same PCB. Maybe I should internet search that, because it says here 90PR0 or something. So yeah, but it sure looks like sharing a PCB. Would be a logical thing. I'm not sure if they did that, but there we have it. So like this, we can of course enjoy it even more with our new cold and vintage and retro fun. Okay, unfortunately it's not entirely perfect. It's like 90% better, but yeah, probably a little bit more cleaning, a little bit more pressing, but significantly better this way. It's certainly usable. Before it was rather annoying. You probably want to double check and clean it more before reassembling. Oh, one more thing, I didn't even expect this to work, so the headphone output was a little bit scratchy, as to be expected after such a time with smoke and dust and whatnot. And I didn't even expect this, so this is obviously not really open and serviceable, this variable resistor porty. But yeah, this actually did something. This contact spray sprayed this in there. I would probably not go in there much like that. Obviously not spraying this all over the PCB there, but yeah, just like that. And yeah, that actually did a thing. Didn't totally not expect that, but yeah, let's see how long this lasts. But so far the scratchiness while changing the volume and stuff is gone.